Hello, welcome back. Dr. Amy here, founder of the Free Range Mama Project. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notifications when we drop new videos twice a week. I am super passionate about what I get to do, which is bringing women through the journey of conception all the way to raising healthy babies so that we can give the power back to the mamas and raise healthy families and change the health of our family for the better. So I've got an awesome video planned for you today. I'm going to give you guys 5 quick tips to have a healthy conception and to have a healthy pregnancy. And really what I would say is if you are someone that is looking to get pregnant, whether that be for your first baby or your second, or your fourth, or your 8th, whatever that is, I recommend still doing these things to prepare your body for pregnancy. So 5 things, I'm going to rattle them off, and then I'm going to break down each one. So the first one is going to be diet or diet variation, diet cleanup. The second one is going to be fasting. The third one is going to be testing. The fourth is supplementation. And the fifth is fun. Joy, things that bring you joy. So let's start with number 1. So my first one is diet variation. Now, this is a big one, diet variation / diet cleanup. I'm going to say variation first. So one of the big things with variation is switching up the foods that you eat so that your body gets exposed to different foods. It helps change up your gut microbiome and your gut bacteria, which is important. I'll give you an example. We've done very strict keto in our house for years, and we recently went all vegetarian. I think we did it for about 6 weeks, and it was amazing to see the change in our guts within that first week as our body was getting used to the plant toxins or the plant consistencies and what that does for your body and your gut tract. So diet variations, switch up the foods that you eat. When I say a diet cleanup, this is probably more important when we're actually looking at conception and pregnancy. Diet cleanup meaning look at the things that you're eating. If you are exposing your body to any hydrogenated oils, you want to stop those immediately. We want to reduce inflammation. So with the hydrogenated oils, avoid canola. Rapeseed is another one for that. Hydrogenated oils, soybean, safflower, sunflower. Ideally using things like coconut oil, avocado, and then olive oil as well, avoiding the other ones. If you are someone also that enjoys meat, I would highly recommend doing all nitrite and nitrate free, sticking to organic if you're doing chicken free range. If you're doing beef, doing a grass-fed beef. You want to reduce your toxicity load, the antibiotics, and all the other corn and grain fed that's happening there, again, increasing and causing inflammation. If you are a fish eater, I would highly recommend going organic. And when I say organic, doing wild-caught fish, I would stick to more like a sea bass or even a wild-caught salmon. Avoid 100% farmed fish. You do not want to do anything that's been farmed. You also want to avoid the big-bodied fish and also things like canned fish, like a canned tuna. You need to reduce your BPA load as well as your heavy metal toxicity because what's inside of you can be passed on to baby. The last couple things I'll say about a diet cleanup is also if you are eating fruits and vegetables and you are eating the skin, they absolutely should be organic. You need to reduce your pesticide load as much as possible so that you're not creating a toxic environment in your body when you're creating a perfect human. So that's what I have for you guys in regards to diet. The last 2 things I would add to that is eliminating processed sugars as well as eliminating any artificial sweeteners. So artificial sweeteners would be Equal, Splenda, Sweet and Low, or sucralose, aspartame, and saccharin. So for diet cleanup, it's important because what you have in your body and what you put in your body is what's going to fuel your child. So it's super important to give yourself good nutrients. So second thing we're talking about is fasting. Now I have a phenomenal friend. She's like one of the coolest people. Her name is Dr. Mindy Pelz, and I'm going to tag a couple of her videos here for you. She is the guru when it comes to fasting and even more specifically for women. So she has a whole fasting circle that she created for women. And it basically breaks down at what point within your cycle, 28-day cycle, should you be fasting, should you not be fasting, what food should you be doing to help build hormones like progesterone, which is super important for getting pregnant. She also talks about how we can reset hormones through fasting, specifically looking at intermittent fasting and then 24-hour fasts and beyond. So I'm going to tackle a couple of those because no one does it better than she does. And I've learned a lot just in my postpartum journey of healing, of weight loss, and getting myself back on track with fasting. So I'll share some of that in the links in the description below. So let's talk about the third one. This is a very big passion of mine. as I am going into the process of having a second child. If you are having your first child, this is something you should do. If you're having your second child or beyond, you should do this as well. We're looking at testing. So the next thing that I want to address, which would be my third tip, is testing. And the reason I say that, if this is your first child, you want to know what's in your body that can be passed down into your baby. If this is your second child or, like I said, beyond, after you have a baby, a lot of times your body can do a toxic dump, and you want to make sure that you don't have anything that's in the body in between those pregnancies that is being passed on to baby, or a possible deficiency, gut issues, so on and so forth, that is affecting the child. So the test that I would highly recommend doing, first one is the DETOX Plus through Precision Analytical. That one's amazing. It's checking your sex hormones, your adrenal health. It's going to check cortisol. It's also going to check if you're a proper methylator, meaning if your body detoxifies. It's going to check your epinephrine, your norepinephrine, your dopamine, so checking for mood and gut. And it is... it's a phenomenal test. So I would highly recommend, if you're looking to get pregnant or you struggle getting pregnant, that is one of the best places to start. The second thing I would look at is doing a heavy metal test. We love the doctor's data urine analysis test, or doing a trace elements mineral hair test. Looking for heavy metals. Heavy metals can be passed down to babies, specifically mercury and lead, and that is a big thing. So if you do find heavy metals, that is something that absolutely should be addressed before having child. So looking at heavy metals, the concern there is obviously not just fetal development, but can also affect our hormones, our hormone regulation, which can affect your ability to get pregnant. And heavy metals also can block mineral sites, which, if it's blocking things that you need, is going to be blocking what baby needs. So that's heavy metals. The last thing I would say for testing, so we've got DETOX Plus, we've got heavy metals, and then the third thing would be an environmental toxin test. I've talked a lot about this in my detox videos, but environmental toxins are a very big issue, a very real issue, and a very scary problem. If we are creating a human, we want to avoid passing those toxins down into that child and giving them that toxic overload, that overflowing bucket, before they even have a chance to come into the world. So the environmental toxin test is phenomenal. I recently did one on myself, and there's a couple different things that I was shocked that I was clear of, and there's other things that I had there that I thought, okay, that makes sense. I've lived in 2 new houses in the last couple years, and I need to address those things and detoxify my body of those things before I make another baby. So the last, or I should say the second to last, number 4, is supplementation. With supplementation, I would also recommend doing a basic vitamin mineral panel. So checking vitamin D, your iron. You want to make sure that you have the fundamental vitamins and minerals that you need. One thing my midwife said to me that just stuck in my brain is, whether you have it or not, baby's going to take it. So whether you have the vitamin D or whether you have, the proper levels of X, Y, and Z, baby's going to take what they need. So that's a big problem, because if you're deficient, then that means baby's deficient. And if you have low levels, then you're going to have even more problems, because then you're going to essentially not have any, because you give everything to child. Welcome to the rest of your life. So I would highly recommend looking at doing a vitamin and mineral panel, and then supplementing accordingly, just so that you know that you go into pregnancy, you go into conception balanced, or just making sure that you have everything you need. My last one is the best one. My last one is fun. And fun for you could be traveling, it could be binge watching shows, it could be journaling, it could be taking a couple trips, or with friends or with your husband or significant other. I would highly recommend, though, finding joy. One of the biggest things that throws off our hormones, our adrenals, our sex hormones, our cortisol response is stress. And so finding things that bring you joy, finding things that are fun, that make you laugh, are super important, not only for your health, but your body's ability to conceive and actually walk that baby through that process of health and well-being. So those are my 5 tips for you. I hope they were helpful. If you have questions, comment below. If this was helpful, give me a thumbs up. And please, as always, share with other moms. My goal is to be able to really help support women and give them tools, give them great information, so that we can together raise healthy families. So bless you guys. I'll see you soon. Have a great day.